night edition of the Supplement Industry Insider. This is episode 033, Larry Bird's number, my favorite number as far as basketball is concerned. And my co host, Javier Perez, now live in studio next to me.
All right, number 33. I didn't know that was her favorite number. Is
Yeah,
that Larry Bird oriented, correct?
that is a Larry Bird thing. And I was speaking about sports. I didn't want to bring this up, but I just wanted to make sure that Puerto Rico showed up last night.
And we did not.
What happened there, bud?
You know, I think that when you dye your hair 8 weeks, it starts getting into your brain, and I'm truly gonna blame it on the blonde hair. That's all I'm going to say.
The blonde hair and the blonde beard. I thought it would. I thought it would propel them, but 8-0. Wow, I didn't expect that.
You know, I tell you this: when because our pitcher was pitching pretty good. I mean, he has 7 strikeouts in in 5 innings, and two mistakes. The mistake he made to Ian Kinsler for the home run. It was a curveball that he left up, and Ian Kinsler is well known for hitting mistakes, and he did. And then what he did with Adam Jones, which was the same thing. He just left the ball right above. And but other than that, I mean, he was he was pitching well, man. And honestly, I'm so proud of not only the way that we showed up for the series, but also I'm pretty proud of Team USA because a bit of a renting. You know, of course, I'm from Puerto Rico. I'm a U.S. citizen, so it was win-win for me. What I'm very happy about is that my heritage was represented, living was represented. So it was a win-win situation. But at the same time, I think that it was pretty cool from our players after the game was over to go to the dugout and say congrats. You know, there was no hard feelings. I wish they would have showed up, but even though it was an 8-0 game, it was a pretty good game overall. You know, there was no. I think that Stroman really pitched the game of his life. I mean, it was a one-hitter against a team that was hitting. Puerto Rico was hitting over 300. Um, had 4 guys hitting over 300 and 2 guys hitting over 400. Correa and Lindor. So you know, it was good. I'm so happy and proud of our boys. You know, I saw the celebration today when they went back to Puerto Rico, and I'm gonna post it because even though we lost, our island just we're going through very tough times in Puerto Rico, and if you don't follow that, it'll be a very good idea for everybody to read on it. Our government is a mess right now. We just here in the United States, and it just lifted everybody's spirits. And my rant on Facebook was because, you know, before public were doing all the stuff that they were doing, nobody knew about the World Baseball Classic. And they brought something and a passion that it's by far the most amazing thing I've seen in a very, very long time in sports, not just baseball. And as you know, Nick, baseball is not a very emotional sport. You know, it's not like football one or score a touchdown, but to keep that passion for 7 games and 9 innings, 63 innings of bringing it. Mexico, then they went all the way to San Diego and then up the coast to LA. So, it was pretty cool. It was very entertaining. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm happy those were very, very long nights. A lot of long nights. Like the Netherlands game ended almost at 2 a.m. when we beat them in extra innings to go to championship. It was good, man. It was. I'm glad it's over. I will keep waving my flag. I'm wearing red, white, and blue shorts today in memory of heroes, but it's still red, white, and blue for the U.S.
So while we have zero viewers on YouTube, real fast, I'm going to ask you if you go on your Google Hangouts button there and you go to that settings and go to the next button over and it says adjust bandwidth usage. Tell me what that says.
Settings. There's no bandwidth usage.
Go to the one to the left of settings. It looks like bars,
Hold on. Oh,
like a triangle.
got it. All right.
Does it say audio HD?
Yeah, it says yeah, audio HD.
Okay, good. because just to the viewers know, we are again testing out some new equipment tonight to make sure that we bring you the best once we have guests back on. Javi sounds like he's sitting next to me. He's really not. He is down in Florida, and I'm in the Cacalax. But as you can tell, the sound quality is much better. And as we continue to work out the digital details of the podcast, we're only going to get better. So we're taking another momentous and expensive step forward to bring you the best of our industry live on YouTube and live to our podcast. And obviously, this is episode 33. Interesting conversation I had today with two people. Two guests that will be coming on. I didn't bring up the whole, well, if you guys like it, why haven't you been leaving reviews? But one of them did say he's very proud of us that we've continued on with this project.
I couldn't catch the last, but who said that was proud of us? Because he or she or whoever has not left any reviews.
That I was going to say that. So even though they haven't left any reviews, they did say that they were proud of us for continuing on with the project.
Yeah, and you texted me the two people, and they're great friends. I'm excited about having them on board, and yeah, of course they're proud. I mean, we pride ourselves of everything that we're doing. Um, I think we're doing a pretty decent job of delivering a good message, and if people know that stuff that we have to go through in order to get to this point, it's pretty. It's gonna be fun to have those guys, man.
It is. So I'm going to try to, obviously, we may have one of them on during this weekend, and then the other one will be next week. And then probably the following week after that, we will be bringing you guys and gals and everybody listening, Dr. Abby Smith Ryan, which is going to be a big one for us. So we need to make sure that we have everything on point when she comes on board, because you only get one chance at that.
Absolutely. And you and I spoke about that for a bit, and we need to make sure that we know and we have topics and everything, because she's going to be taking time of her busy schedule to join our podcast. So need to make sure that it's absolutely worth it. And we are live on YouTube, guys, and I just had the popped on my phone that we are live on YouTube. So if you're listening, I'm going to, we'll talk about certain things, and while Nick is talking, I'm going to be blasting the link so everybody can join us on the YouTube channel, because I want to hear a little people about the sound and everything, just to make sure that we're getting better and better.
So turn your gain down another dot, and I want to see if that makes any bit of a difference.
What about now, sir?
That is good. Um, so you were wearing a pink flamingo coat today. Why don't you tell me about that? Tell me about that wardrobe decision.
So, oh man, so I was in the office, you know. So I was in the office all week, and I always dress that way, but they don't get to see me. And that's more and more of me and more videos. I ran out of a little bit of juice today, so I'm gonna be bringing the camera and our guys like Edwin, Alex, Dylan, Kelly Garcia doing our stuff. It's gonna be awesome, awesome footage for you guys. I mean, you get to see what we do every single day. I'll be going into the office more just because I'm gonna switch some things around to make sure that I'm still gonna go to office, but I'm still gonna do my lunches, my breakfasts, my dinner. I'm just gonna set everything that the days that I'm in the office that is a little bit closer, so I'm not wasting time. Um,
Right.
but I wear stuff like that all the time. First of all, I'm in Florida. Second of all, everybody knows my style. Everybody knows I'm stylish. But three is the internacional, okay? Is the international business. You have to have a little bit of flair. So what I do, nice jeans, some cool tennis shoes, a t-shirt, and then put a blazer on. So today I had this blazer that it was not pink. It was red, but it's like that very light red, but it looked extremely pink, I guess. So I went burned from Chile today, and he told me, he's like, I've been in a lot of meetings. I never been in a meeting with somebody so stylish. I mean, a big shout out to Christian Gerlich from Pure Nutrition in Chile. He flew all the way from Chile just to meet me and discuss business. So I needed to look apart. You didn't see the outfit from yesterday, which it was an black rubber ground blazer, and the inside of the blazer was multicolored. So Alex was dying. I knew he was gonna steal my jacket.
Did he end up stealing your jacket?
No, hell no. The jacket costs way too much money. I'll buy half that one. Ain't happening.
So, anything happen interesting with your week so far?
It's been it's been a great week in both ways. I posted something on Facebook earlier this afternoon about. I always do this post every day or every other day about me talking to me. Right? It's me talking to me, and I like to share that because there's a person called Robert Smith. Uh, Robert Smith is a acquaintance. Well, I will call him a friend now. I know him for like 3, 4 years now. To the place that I go quite a bit. And Robert is about 49, 50 years old. And we watch football together and everything, know him for a while. And he approached me last there games. And he just came close to me and said, Look, I just want to tell you this. And he's got this deep southern accent. And he said, I just want this. What you do, man, that shit is cool. Just like that. And I'm like, well, I do a lot of things, Robert. Can you be more specific? And he said, all this motivational stuff, man, sometimes I wake up and look at this and say, holy shit, man, how the hell can I even like think about being upset today? This kid is just man. Long story short, we got to talk about it. He asked me the reasons why and everything. And I decided to post that to him because it's a thought that I keep in mind every single day. But it's about what is it that I do? Why do I do it? And that sometimes you get disappointed about things and you start losing focus, right? I think at this point in my career life, sometimes that hits me a little bit more than none. And this has been one of those weeks that I have to analyze and kind of think about everything in my life, what's important, make some changes about what really matters. And I think um, I think that it is very important that people get to know that we do, and that's just number one. Number two, we do it because we care about everyone. We care about our families, and most importantly, we care that we do a good enough job because it's all about leaving a legacy. So to me, this week was more about proving myself that no matter what's going on, that I can attend to attend to any little challenge. And the challenges this week, and Nick, you and I spoke about it, has been I work with individuals. We're trying to build something special. We're trying something legit. We're trying to do things that make sense. And being having a little bit of challenges with some countries, and just because permits are not being pulled, paperwork is not being filled out correctly, and it does. It sticks in my head, and sometimes I have to let go, but I just can't let it go. You guys probably know what I'm talking about. You try to let something go, but the good news about it this week is that for example, I'm having a good week with numbers. A lot of orders, uh, a lot of orders are about to come to fruition, and it's I get like a little kid when I get a new country, right? Because very very big. It's a new country to add there. We haven't talked about. I got the Ukraine right now as well.
Nice.
Should be so. I think that we're doing the job that we're supposed to do, but at the same time, we're just working with challenges, and you just gotta get better. That's it. We just gotta get better at it. But overall, man, I cannot complain. Caden has been on spring break. I haven't spent any time really, only after work with him. I'm thinking about tomorrow. taking either half a day or something because he goes back to school next week. And we didn't save enough money this year to be able to take a family vacation and go somewhere where we'll make it finish his school as well. Um, but it's very important that I do that because, like right now, we're doing this podcast, and in my house, I have all the kids, meaning Kaylee's spending the night. She's excited. Ken is excited because she's gonna sleep with his sissy, like he calls her, in his room. So he's excited about that. And when I told her, like, honey, I would love to stay, but I made a commitment. I'm gonna do my podcast. Her reaction was like, "Of course, I didn't expect you to be here." It was pretty cool the way she says hi to the audience because she was live. So um, we will get her back. I told her, I promise her, she wants to come back and finish the conversation because she felt like it was her fault, like she said. So she said that she has so much more to add. And I'm like, well, we need people like that. So with that being said, I think that the women know, knowing that I had all the kids there.
Yeah, she
What
was
about
an
you,
awesome.
sir? What about you? I want to hear
I
about
mean,
you.
I was going to say that she was an awesome guest, and I can't wait to have her back on. She just being um, your offspring, obviously, is another mind's eye into who you are, and I think that gave me and a lot of other people. And I just want everybody out there to know. Obviously, Javi and I, we seem like. Is the way that I put it. You have people that are I consider old souls, and then I have people that are consider new souls. And it seems like Javi and I have been best friends for years, and though we've done business and talked to each other since God 2005. Um,
2005, yes.
yeah, I mean, we were never like best friends, but anytime that I saw him, we picked up like um uh, we picked up like two friends that had known each other our entire lives and were able to never have an awkward moment and have conversations and just kick shit back up again. There's the first cuss word of the night, so I need to start adding the explicit thing to iTunes or they're going to kick us off, but fuck them. I love you, iTunes. Dr. Dre, I love you. um,
Yes.
but it comes in this industry that you talk to a lot of people and you deal with a lot of manufacturers, and the relationships that you build over a certain amount of years, some of them don't go away, even when the person leaves the company. So I was doing business with Javi at BSN, dealing with some international customers and dealing with some local customers. And Javi was always there, and always Javi always had my back, and I always felt that. We may have only talked maybe 3 times a year. But when we did, it was such an involved conversation that you would have never known that we were not talking to each other for the rest of that year. So and I appreciate everybody's comments about our chemistry. And yes, I mean, definitely, I could not do this alone. And without Javi's presence and without his Rico Suave, it is the dynamic of the team that makes this podcast possible. Uh, you know, uh, it, it's heartwarming to hear everybody talk out there, and all the Facebook messages that I get and the texts and the conversations, and people say that you guys are great. I'm proud of you for keeping going on. And we're not going to get back into the whole, well, let us know and things like that. But there's a lot that goes into this, and we're dedicated this to the long run, even if in the future pathways should part for some reason that is unbeknownst to us right now at this time. We are dedicated in continuing to bring you this podcast because no one has done it in our industry, and I believe it is sorely needed. I believe that we need to get the message out there about the people in our industry and the people that we do business with, and especially as our business continues to morph to online business, things like Amazon, things like .coms, it's only going to grow. And that brings me to a little topic again that we talked about in the past two episodes. And I want to delve into it again because this has been a very interesting week for me because technically I'm not a manager at the place we work, but I manage a lot of the um parts of the business that go unmonitored if I did not monitor them. And if anybody's a sales rep out there and you guys have an account that deals with Amazon, I'm going to just lay this down straight for you. If you in Muscle Foods, DNA, wherever, if you're a sales rep and you are dealing with an Amazon customer and you're not talking to people within your team about the things that you are doing, you need to, because we are the ones responsible for uh, bringing the race to the bottom. Um, man, I want to go off on another tangent, and I'm going to save my energy because it may not work. But I'm just going to say this: today, I just saw some things that were very shocking. And then when I checked Amazon and I checked the buy box, and I saw some things, we are not doing a good enough job of communicating. We are great at competing against one another, and I'm going to tell you guys, everybody out there, doesn't matter what manufacturer, what distributor you work for, if we continue the way that we are going, we are all going to be out of a job. This shit has to stop now. This communication has to start, and we have to start working together as teams, because the only ones that are winning out there are not us. It's the end user, and it's obviously the .com that things are being sold on. And in order for us to become the winners, we have to take into account the things such as overhead, such as cost of goods, and labor, because we provide services that no one else can. Um, we are boxing and selling goods for somebody that never touches them, and we send them to a say a warehouse somewhere that gets put into a supply chain that we have no control over. And at that point, the product is gone and you've made whatever you made on it. So if you sales rep out there are happy with making 5 points and don't think about the company that you work with or work for, and don't think about taking care of them, the business is short lived. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, because that basket will break and your eggs will fall and break. You need to think about the team. And if you deal in this industry and in this side of e commerce business, you need to talk with others and you need to formulate a strategy of how you can keep everybody at the same level so that everybody makes their money and it's not a gigantic race to the bottom and it's five monkeys fucking a football, because that's what's happening right now. And it's going to continue until we get our shit together. Parental advisory, explicit lyrics. I apologize. Maybe I'm getting my point across and I'm talking with my hands on the camera, but that's how it is. And until that happens, don't expect stuff to get better.
You you have hit some points, and probably some people are not going to clearly understand, like here's what I'm going to say. Nick and I have conversations about his what he's talking about, and I don't call it a right. And we're all responsible for our actions. That's number one. If you don't take the time to do your research and strategy, it's going to be very, very tough for you to win. Okay, very tough. Um, the next frustration comes from a lot of people not understanding that if you're part of a team effort is the only thing that is going to allow us to win. Okay, you cannot be part of a team and think about you and you and you. We'll have to feed our families. That's 100%. With that being said, you need to understand understand you have to rely on someone else. We're not superheroes, okay? We feel like we are Superman some days. We feel like we are, dying the next day. When you have someone right next to you, and Nick and I probably have a lot of more experience than people because with his military background, myself with the sports background, I was always part of a team. And if I was playing baseball, there's eight other hitters in my team. So if I struck out, somebody needed to pick me up. If Nick was in the middle of battle and somebody got shut down, somebody needed to pick that person up. So I think that the reason why long we're called All Souls is because we share that same passion and view that he's referring to. With that being said, we're also big advocates of people to be part of a movement, right? And I believe that our company can still be part of that movement. I believe that we have made a lot of progress, but I think that what Nick is referring to is that as an industry, there's plenty of money to be made. There's plenty of spaces. We just keep fighting for it and fighting the wrong way. Fight for it to grow your own business. Do not fight against each other because what's going to happen is that we're just going to, and I'm going to be blunt about it, we're going to look stupid. Okay. We're not going to win any. We're just going to keep at war with ourselves. So you have to make sure you pick your battles. And, when you have a teammate that his numbers are down and you can't do anything for them, come on, do it. And, you know, and I didn't tell this to Nick, but any of you guys listening out there, I shared this with Alex and Dylan and Edwin today, the domestic side, and I am in the international side, and they do have some export accounts, right? I told them, I'm like, look, I want to help you guys grow that business. So if you are getting paid in a way that does not allow you to gain that business, that's when you have to use me as your resource. I need to allow you to keep making your money, but you need to be honest with me and tell me who it is, where is it going, what have you done, where is it shipping, everything, because I can literally help you. I always offer my help, even people that are just domestic from our offices, like a Mark Weisenbach that asks for help, or Logan Bailey, or this guy Lucas Bignell. They always reach out to me and said, "Hey, man, we know you have more experience. How can I do this? Do you think there's a way to do this? And if there's a way, first of all, if there's a will, there's a way. But second of all, will might not be everything. You need to find a way. Well, let's find a different way to do things and do it the right way. And I was in the office all week, and man, it was pretty cool to be there because I see the dynamic, but also I need to make sure everybody listening, if you own a team, if you're part of a team, I'm gonna challenge you. Tomorrow's Friday. So a lot of people, okay, the weekend is coming. But no, I'm gonna challenge you. Tomorrow's Friday. Start tomorrow. Okay, go to that office, gather up the troops, rally the troops, and let them know that you have their back. That's all that it takes sometimes. All it takes is one email call and just tell them that. Just tell them that you have their back. That whatever is necessary to do, you have their back. Because sometimes when you're a manager, you kind of forget those things. You're going about your own business. Um, but we are all managers of our own businesses. So to me, you cannot look at yourself, oh, we have issues. Well, no, you have an issue. You have a portfolio business. You're managing your own business. So if you're able to take ownership and if you're doing something illegal, bad, wrong, you need to stop. If you're criticizing and always being negative, you need to stop. You need to put a stop to that and find a way. And if Nick and I can be of any help, reach out to us. And I'm not even talking, we're not even talking podcast right now. We're talking, our personal numbers. You work with us. Just come to us and say, listen, I see this challenge. How will you overcome this? And we can try it as a team, again, once again, as a team to come with a solution because you might be doing something that maybe we can apply to our business. And I think that that's the reason that I enjoy so much the conversation with Casey. Casey had a lot of great things to bring to the podcast, but also he asked me some questions that I hope that people listen to that podcast. You know, what is the most important thing? Who do I rather take in a team? Somebody that is graduated or somebody that is a seasoned veteran? I explained to it. It depends on your company. It depends what are you trying to build. And I take Europa Sports right now almost almost like a startup. Why do I do that is because we acquire Lone Star Distribution a little bit over a year ago, and we're still learning each other. Okay, we have a period of sizing each other. It's over. Now it's learning about each other. So you got to reach out to those guys and girls and say, look, I'm here for you. So let's talk about so much negativity going on right now. Everybody fighting for the same space. And this e-commerce, Amazon thing, all these companies cutting people off, cutting discounts because the he said, she said. Look, man, at the end of times, we're in the business of sales. Okay, that product is gonna go somewhere. You just don't know where it's gonna go. Let me tell you something, dear companies. At the end of times, you're getting paid a bonus product. Wherever it lands, you should know, but you're not always going to know. You think that when you're shipping to GNC, that means it's going to land in the GNC store. I have newsflash for you. Okay, not always. Okay, that product will leave the country as well. It's going to go places. So we will continue to talk about these things because they'll affect Nick and I probably more than anyone else in the team because the dynamic for our businesses. So, Nick, I'm glad you brought that little. You were trying to call it a rant. I don't think a rant. A rant is when you beat that boy.
No,
Okay,
we did a rant on 30, 31, and 32.
yeah,
I think that was more of just a general call out because
yeah,
um, I mean, we are talking about the supplement industry, and we're supposed to be the insiders. And maybe this podcast is just maybe aimed at helping those within the industry because um, I definitely don't hear those conversations going on a daily basis. But what I do hear is individual sales reps that come to me and have issues that need resolution, and sometimes I can help them within the framework of the business. Sometimes this is the framework that I use to get a point across because uh, obviously I have to keep two things separate. I have to be politically in business correct at my place of employment, and here it allows me to do or to say some things that maybe people should hear that just need to be said. And the same goes with international business. And it's not that it affects you or me more. I guess it's just that maybe we have the heartstrings for it, and that we overall see how things affect the business. And unbeknownst to maybe many people, we understand what bottom lines are. We understand what the difference between um, profit and net profit and sales and wholesale sales are, and how that affects the entire bottom line of not just only our company but our industry. Because as soon as prices come down in one portion of the business, prices are going to come down in another segment of the business or another portion of the business to compensate. And this race to the bottom has to stop. And for all you end users out there that may happen across this podcast, it's not that, we're trying to um, increase prices or do anything negative that would impact the end user. Ultimately, it's the goal that we have of the end user, because as an industry, without the proper supply chain, you will not have the proper supply of products to either the place that you buy them from, whether it be a .com or whether it be a storefront for those of you that are dedicated to brick and mortar. But it, we're trying to keep it real, and we're trying to hopefully maintain the business as a whole, whether it be online, brick and mortar, or wherever it is. We're trying to keep this industry alive and not taken over by just a few giants, because as soon as that happens, everybody's screwed. uh, you see it in in other industries. I'm just not going to name them, but you can see it in just about every other healthcare field. Once there's a monopoly, the end user does eventually get affected. So if you have multiple entrants is into a market, you have to make sure that those entrance points into the market are fair and are based upon volume and are based upon viability of the volume in the long term. And as long as those I call them the two metrics for myself, just for how I gauge, how a segment of business should be done. Not only is it just volume, but it's also long term volume. If you're in it for the short haul and it's not a flash in the pan, because not flash in the pans are gone. You have to think long term, and uh, if you want to truly make money in this industry, you have to think long term.
Yeah, this industry is very volatile, right? There's a lot of dynamics, a lot of moving parts, and again, we spoke about this in many episodes. Spencer Johnson's "Who Moved My Cheese." You have to learn to adjust, and I think that in our industry, I hate to use the language, but we do a shitty job adapting to things. We look at our and I criticize myself probably more than anybody can criticize me because I want to succeed no matter what. But there are times that I'm thinking and I'm like, what the hell am I criticizing? I don't understand what I'm criticizing because I know that I'm doing this right. But I look at retail business, specifically specialty restaurants. It's a little bit of a complain, war that you have. And I spoke. So today we had at the office, and Nick, you had up there. We had the team from High Tech, um, and I have to say, we had in our office Andy Broadman, who's been around for a long tree life, and then with companies in the last 7 months. Andy, I love you, but it's true. I don't know what uniform you're gonna wear, but I know I can always count on you and make me laugh. And you do a very good job with every brand, so that's a joke. Um, but we also had Anthony Presiano, and I know Anthony shit since 2004, BSN days, and they actually did a very good coming to the office and asking the domestic guys, what are the challenges out there? How can we help you? So I actually really, I didn't had those kind of employees, and that's my fault. I should have got to know them a little bit better. I know Andy, I know Anthony, but years ago, which they have changed and how their personalities have adapted to our industry, and they were finding ways for every single customer, Dylan, Alex, or everyone will have. They weren't like they were not sitting there saying like, "Oh, you should do this." No, they were like, "Okay, tell us more to see how we can help you guys as a company." And big shout out to those guys because not many people can come to our offices and said that normally they put excuses, right? And they didn't. All they did was like, "Look, we've done that. We have taken accounts direct in the past. We were direct business for the most part. We're aligned with you guys. We want to partner with you guys. What can we do?" And I love when people think that way because it allows our employees to feel more comfortable, but also trusting the brand. And if you were to ask Nick, he would tell you, that's the reason that maybe there's a product that is selling because he's got loyalty to that brand and he understands it and he believes in that brand. He believes that he can trust that brand. Been taken from Civation, their new Quick, the pre-workout. Received the package from Holiday.
What'd you think?
And
Did you try it?
yes, I got to try it. So I like the product a lot. I'm just a two scooper on that product, 800%. One scoop, it didn't do as much. But I want the listeners to understand this. I'm a little bit different. I take a lot of caffeine, but since I kind of started staying away from stims as much as I could, and I took to a scoots man, and the one thing that I love about the product is how clean that it gives me. This focus, it's very tough to explain, but I think the Pico 2 is what really gets me the most because I have this endurance that I never had before throughout a workout. I'm doing cardio that I'm normally not enjoying it, but I'm getting better at it. I'm doing more outside cardio than anything, which I normally don't like. So I'm going about 2-3 miles a day, and to me that's big. And then I'm going to the gym and doing cardio as well. So it's pretty cool to have that. So I think that
So I wanted to share. I wanted to share one thing on
yeah, go ahead.
that, because my I can obviously tell a difference when I take Quake and when I don't. And just so you guys know, we've debated on the whole brand of the week thing, and I think we may move it to a brand of the month, because brand of the week started out very ambitious, and as the podcast has gone on, I think we're going to eventually move it to a brand of the month and talk about that brand for an entire month rather than trying to switch it up every week. But that's still to be said. We had some talks about who the brand of the week was going to be this week, and we were going to play with a couple, but we're going to talk about that later. So we'll bring that guys back to you once we discuss it. But I just wanted, because Civation was already brand of the week. I'm trying to pull up a run that I did the other day, and this is the first time uh, in about a year that I have broke the uh, hour mark, and I didn't even just break it by a little bit. I'm hurting today. I'm hurting a lot, but I did a 10K yesterday in a little bit under 54 minutes. So for me, that was under an 8:47 per mile pace for a 10K, which is 6.2 miles. I haven't done that in God knows 5 years, and this is coming off my second back surgery. And I attempted to do this 2 weeks ago, and I didn't take Quake just to do it. And then I took Quake, and that and whole endurance thing that you're talking about uh, was very visible to me. I mean, I was able to push through uh, 54 minutes of sub 8 minute miles. Some of them were over 8 minute miles. So I ended up being around 8:37 for an average pace. That was also with me forgetting to stop my watch and go to a gas station and get some water. But Quake is the real deal. And shout out to Halliday and to the team at Civation. That is a great product. And it's not just, I don't think, meant for the gym crowd. I think it's definitely meant for anybody that is training and the science behind it. If you guys read into it, the efficacious doses of ingredients, I'll leave that up to you. But for this anecdotal evidence, same thing, Javi. Endurance was through the roof.
Very, very are not about new products. And in our industry, everybody says, "Oh, I have the best, it's the newest, this and that," right? But that quick, it is the real deal, and I think that is as advertised. I think they did a very good job promoting the product, so um, it really affected me in a very good way. I actually give it to my training partner, give it to my neighbor Ryan Fletcher, and they both. I'm not gonna give Halliday a lot of kudos because I'm a little bit of a sissy when it comes to him right now. Meaning, our friend for so the pelotas, the bolas to come on air.
We're going to
But we
keep
still
giving
love
it.
you.
We're still going to keep giving you shit until you do, because we know you listen to this.
My candles. You guys should Google my candles. The reason and what he has built with that company is by far probably the smartest company in the world. I mean, I'm not afraid of saying that. The guy is that smart. I mean, he's done cancer research, built this brand, and all the research around his ailing mother who passed away not too long ago. So when you base on something medical and your family, you're going to always get fans because your purpose is completely different from everybody else. And Mike has always had funds. He's always had good money. I mean, he built an empire years ago, and he continued his mission with Civation. He's done an amazing job. So kudos to him, not only on Quake but everything else. I mean, everybody knows Extend BCAs are the number one BCA in the world as well. They have great products overall. Flexitril is my new favorite product, Joy Formula. It's really helped me a lot. And they have a lot of cool things in the horizon as well. I'm in distribution in a big country, and Howard is extremely excited about that. Um, so it's good. And Nick, I like the idea of the brand of the. I think that when you do brand of the week, we kind of miss on a lot of highlights, from some of those brands. And I think if
Yep.
we have a month to talk about, it's probably the reason you mentioned that. So
Yeah, I don't, and I think it does a little bit of disservice to the brand because we may both of us get busy during the week and trying to feed two monsters at one time. I think we'll do more justice with a brand of the month than a brand of the week, um, and then it'll obviously it'll let us delve more deeper into that brand for the entire week rather than just 7 days because obviously this week, I say obviously a lot. I need to knock that shit off. This week we've only been podcasting. Well, this is our first podcast since what, Saturday? Maybe no, we did one
Saturday,
Saturday.
this
Yeah.
Sunday.
So, so we're gonna come to you. I just cut myself off from saying obviously again. We're gonna try to come to you guys multiple times a week, but this has been a couple busy weeks for both of us, and we started out very ambitious in this project, and we're still going to keep bringing it to you. It may be only 2 or 3 times a week because we don't want to run out of stuff to say, but we also want to bring to you guys good information. And then if we have guests, most importantly, we may come to you multiple times a week, depending on who we have. And this next 2 weeks looks to be two humdinger of 2 weeks. I mean, so if you guys are going to listen and watch, Michael Gatchis, formerly of Axis Labs and of Dymatize, is probably going to join us on Saturday, is what we're going for. And then Steve Mayfield, formerly with Dymatize, will be next week. And then the following week, we hope to have Dr. Abby Smith Ryan. So this will be a busy 2 weeks for us. And then I think you've got 2 more weeks here in the States, and then you're international again, which is always good for us because we get lots of videos and we get lots of viewers, especially from those places that you visit. What is your travel schedule coming up here? I know you're home for another 2 weeks, and then you're back out again.
Yeah, so I'm able to be now. Some things that are going to. I'm looking into this. So we spoke about this. I was going to be in the UK FitCon show at the end of the month and everything. So they're going to change that, man. And I'm going to take. I'm going to do something great. And this is because there's two countries with two customers that have supported me and Europa from the beginning, right? And they're doing very good numbers. So what I'm thinking about doing, which will be great podcasting and great feedback, take and I think I'm gonna go to Brazil in April and go to the Arno Brazil because nobody from Europe has ever been there, and then our distributor literally surprised me with an order. Not surprised me, but one flavor of one bar. He took all the stock that I had, and getting shipped out. Wire should be coming by tomorrow morning, but big shout out to WW Sports. They do an amazing job for us, and I think that it'd be great to take care of those guys and take a look at the market. I remember going to Brazil in the BSN days, and not, it was the hottest market. So we we got some work to do. But then I'm thinking instead of coming home, I'm going straight from there to the Dominican Republic because we have our partner Wilton Beltray from Evil Fit continue so and also house. And also we have two other distributors there, Grabo Nutrition, which is Edwin's customer. The company telling the guys, if you have someone that has been your customer, it's not that I want to take it, but if I fly to a country, please let me know the customer so I can say hi on behalf of Europa Sports. Okay. And maybe because I'm there, we can maximize the space a little bit more as well. So doing Brazil and Dominican Republic, that trip will probably be a total of about 10, 12 days just because Brazil is pretty big and I don't want to go I do want to see the market and the customers. And Dominican Republic, same thing because it's a small island, but it has a lot of markets. Trip sounded very good, and I have to talk to Steve Salmon. But the thing is, like, honestly, I don't have anything. I need you to utilize my area with which is a little bit of a pet peeve. I need to understand a little bit more of the EU and UK business overall in order to me to spend so much time there with nothing.
So
I'm not
I
in the
want
position to.
let me ask you a question about that real fast.
Yeah.
Obviously, we had USN here this past week, and they claim to have a huge market share in the EU and South Africa. So has and obviously Tim Edmonds has left USN. Uh, so when you talk about EU business, right now, as you understand it, what are the main brands that you see doing well over there, or what main brands are doing well there over now, or there doing well over there now?
So USN, of course, they were there, and yeah, big shout out to Tim. I just talked to him about. It's a little sad. Yeah, I liked him a lot. He's a good guy, very knowledgeable, willing to help and everything. So I'm pretty sure he'll be okay. So USN is there. The reason why it's a brand from South Africa. The proximity to the UK, has a lot to do with that. Brands that do well in the UK and the EU areas that dominate Ultimate Nutrition, Universal Nutrition, some of the legacy brands. And this is the reason why they spend their money and resources registering products years ago. They were way ahead of everybody else. So when all these not little, when all these brands are claiming that they're the top brand or that they're everywhere, like I saw a post from one of the brands that we carry that we're in 60 different countries and everything, and we're only this many years old. I'm like, guys, what does it really mean to be in a country? Like if you have distribution in a country, that means that you are fully registered, and customs will allow your product to go through another product there. You can't do that. So, with that being said, that's the reason that I'm not very successful in the EU or UK yet, because a lot of these distributors they're already done their homework. So my goal is to take some of the newer dedicated brands into the EU, which hence why Steve Sandler to the UK, because he said, "Look, I ship to these guys directly, but I don't mind using RoboSports for it." The problem is that his business is not. It does not. The trip will not quantify. I cannot quantify that trip. The more that I have thought about it, because I'm like, it's one brand, one distributor that it's a little bit lagging behind. And I'm talking about Lars from Prometheus, known for a long time, but he's already buying direct from most of the brands. So for me to go there to try to fight pricing with the brands, it probably wouldn't make much sense. That's why I think that going into Brazil, going into that, and it used to be big and it's beginning to pick up again is huge for us, because if Brazil's market open again, it's game over for everybody else. I mean, that market, market it was ridiculous back in the days.
It was growing, and I do want to ask you a question because I've had a lot of feedback from not only sales reps but customers, and some of the customers that you and I share internationally about NutriKey. I have heard that some people at that brand have become very inaccessible within the past couple of weeks, and it has actually been um, a little detrimental to overall business. I don't want you to comment on anything specific, but can you elaborate on any of that? If you feel the same maybe support all of a sudden that was there is no longer there again?
You know what? I would love to comment. I always like to comment on things that I do know about, but here's the thing. The answer to not from my side, and I could probably tell you a little bit. I could probably understand why the reps are feeling that way, and I probably know the reasons why, bit of it. But on my side of things, Nutriki's still pumping. I mean, they still. I think what has happened. Okay, so I think what has happened the last couple of weeks is everybody's aware that they release a brand new brand called Rep Sports. Okay, so
Yep.
you go from
REP.
commodity, yeah.
I was
So
just
you go from
spelling out
commodity
that.
now to play REPP. Yes. Now you go from commodity brand only to sports nutrition. When you look at your employee, your sales force, guys are into fitness and everything, so they're going to be very, very motivated about the new brand, of course. Chris Wagner, the owner of NutriKey, and I have thought about this for a year when he first told me about Rep. When we're in China together for a couple of weeks, we talked in detail, and he asked me, true opinion. Well, you will have a little bit of challenges because your guys are gonna want to rep. That's it's just that simple. It makes more sense for them. That's one of the reasons. The second reason too, and this is very, very legit. Their director of sales, Lex Kovacs, and Chris have been in Australia for the Arnold Australian tour in the country for the last 2 weeks as well. So those guys that normally are the ones are the approachable ones, they've been gone. So that makes probably like Chris just and Lex probably just got back as well. So you should start seeing a little bit of that. And the one thing that I tell our reps, you know how approachable those guys have been with us. Just make sure you reach out to them right away. And if you have some bad feedback or anything, let them know because one thing I know about Chris and Lex, Chris, because I spend so much time with him, is that he will take care of it right away. He will not let that go. But I tell you, from my countries, man, Panama, Colombia, two top countries in the tree, still banging. I mean, I just shipped out over $20,000 to China this month. I shipped out about 15,000 just to Colombia. Another order for Panama dollars just came through. And for some people, will say, "Oh, that's not big numbers." Let me tell you something. Do you understand these are commodity products? How many units it takes for $20,000 of caffeine tabs or GABA or anything like that? So, you know, I think that that brand forever would do good for me because I think my customers trusted me from the beginning and they trusted Wagner when he traveled with me. But I tell you, Nick, it's a little bit bothersome for me because I do not lose if our guys don't attack that right away and go straight to them. It could get very ugly very, very fast in this industry because a lot of people are telling me, a lot of people are asking, who is this brand and how is it that they're doing it? So they got to be very careful.
Just personally, I mean, I deal with a section of the Marine Corps. Who ought to all of the Marines out there that may or may not come upon this podcast, but discussing with them their planograms for the next year. I lost a facing or two of NutriKey. I don't want to say it's directly because of that, but it definitely trying to get those brands in there, and then for me personally, seeing those brands leave was worrisome. But business goes on, and it is what it is. Maybe people listen to this, and we come to a working understanding, and things get back on the right track. But I do agree with you 100% is when you take a brand and then all of a sudden you throw another brand on top of it that you've not only doubled your workload, but you are now responsible for representing, no pun intended, two brands, and you've got to figure out which one you want placed where. So commodity SKUs are great. We can place them anywhere. Um, I think it's the supply of those commodity SKUs, and then obviously the focus on a main brand, such as Rep. I think will have positive impacts in the marketplace. Um, for me personally, right now, I see a divergence, and I've had a few people say something to me, and maybe this is the place that we talk about those things and bring them up so that they can get corrected very fast. And I understand international out of people. We are definitely dedicated to certain brands, and not only personally and professionally, but just because we want to see them succeed because they've helped us in the past. And obviously they've helped you in the past, and they're going to continue to be a keystone brand for you. And I'd see that continue, especially with the way that the market is changing, because there are few brands out there that I think that we can turn to in a pinch and say we need this, and it's created for us so that we can fill that gap. And all the work that we've done to place those brands, we want to see them continue to thrive. And Bruce from High Tech had a great analogy today, was that their whole goal was obviously to grow sideways. And if they could get in there with, say, a mesomorph for a lipodrine or something else, and then get their other commodity SKUs in there, so now you've got it. I think it's almost coming to the head of a commodity market, because there are so many niche products out there, and the commodities, I think, are going to be where the focus is going to go, maybe for the next 8 months or so. Do you feel that same way?
Yeah, I agree tremendously with that. And let me go back to the topic because I think that the one thing that I learned in the past couple of years working with Chris and the team is that they are very eager to continue the relationship with Europa and grow. You know, they show loyalty not just to me but to Europa over the years. And there has been some situations that that business and taking it direct, and they don't. They specifically said no. We're going to continue this mission of growing with Europa Sports. So I appreciate that. But sometimes it's a good way. This could segue into speaking with them and said, look, you're doing good. Just let's make sure that we check you. Every now and then you have to check those players. You have to let them know, look, you're growing and everything. But you got to humble yourself. This has nothing to do with their meaning to not be there or support or anything. I think it's more like they got so involved into their new brand, and travel came. I mean, I know Chris has gone from Colorado to Montana to Australia in a period of like 6 weeks. And, of course, some of those are vacation, which is well deserved for the guy. So good for him. At the same time, something called running the company, right? And we just want to make sure that they're going to have our back, and I think that that's what our guys will feel. I do feel that our guys, and I can speak for our guys here in Florida, sometimes we feel that we're entitled to everything. And we feel that we should be the only ones that have, but when it comes to NutriKey, we have to feel that way because they are a dedicated brand. Nobody else has it. And they always shown that. So unless they're trying to change something, and if they are, they better let us know because that'll be a big blow. I mean, we had past experiences with other brands. We spoke about the RSPs of the world and everything. And shout out to those guys, man. They're our friends, but they're part of people, and hurt us as a company overall because we were growing that brand tremendously, and I wasn't even here yet. Um, with that being said, you have Bruce today there, you had High Tech and everything. For people that don't know High Tech as much, and you have followed the brand, we have followed the brand forever. A little bit about High Tech. What is it that they do? But also, what's the number of other brands? Because when the person told me that, I was like, how many brands Jared owned? Like literally owned, like are his. You have probably a little bit of more of a background on that. But tell the audience because I'm sure that
I
right
think
now
right
they're going to be Googling High Tech and they just don't know the dynamics there, but they are big part of. They're large. They're extremely large.
they're extremely large, and they spend a lot of time, obviously, with direct business. I think they own. Let me think. They now own Gaspari. They own High Tech. They own APS. They own Formutech. They own was it
iForce.
iForce? So that's six, and then there was, I think, three or four more other brands. So I think they're up to about 10 or 11 total brands owned right now. And with that portfolio, especially in this market, and the sort of products that they uh, distribute, they are, I guess you could say that they own the market share on those specific products, just because of ingredients and because of certain um, uh, legal aspects. I don't want to delve into the depths of that tonight. Uh, Maybe soon we can discuss that, because They have been known as a company that definitely believes in the products that they push and believes in the ingredients and believes in the science and will fight tooth and nail to keep that market share and to prove to everyone that those products deserve to be in this market and not governed by uh, what's the best word I'm looking for? Processes outside of our control. So when you have a single brand that owns as many brands and does as much contract manufacturing as they do, they own a large percent of market share, especially within your A, B, and C specialty accounts. Um, if you are one of the people out there that still pushes certain ingredients, I'm not going to mention those out of respect for a request that I had. You can basically look it up on the internet and see what we're talking about. But there are a few ingredients out there that are definitely on the cutting edge of science and cutting edge of um, walking a fine line and staying within the realm of sports nutrition. But as a true sports nutrition person, I'm going to say that those products definitely deserve to be in our space and should be governed by, a DSHEA, which is a Dietary Safety, Health, and Education Act. You guys can look that up. Uh, those products are a large amount of their business and they are efficacious and they work and you can trust that the owner of that company does stick to his word and in the words of Bruce today was probably one of the people that stays to his word the most that he's ever met. So uh, Jared owns a lot of business within this industry, and I hope he continues to do so. Uh, and he continues to be an innovator and continues to purchase properties within this industry that have good names and continues to make efficacious products that work that live up to the high tech name.
Yeah, I mean, and they've been around for a long time. They are also contract a lot of people that are their competitors, and they build their products and build their brands. I mean, I know that when I was some of our products in their facilities in Georgia, I had the pleasure to visit out there back in the days. I believe '06, '07, and monstrous facility on there. It's pretty impressive. So I mean, I wanted Nick to elaborate on that just because a lot of people don't know that high tech is as powerful as they. We're not in the. We don't have the freedom to speak about some of those ingredients, the things that they do. They're. I'm not going to call
It's
business
tough.
ethics because they are pretty ethical about what they do. They
Very,
really
very
are.
ethical. Yes.
It speaks the truth.
Yes.
And Nick, with that being said, do you see more of that? Like we just said, 11 companies. Do you see that being the trend now for 017, 018 until 2020 that some of these larger buy now, even businesses that are dying and they need the money influx, or just they're trying to grow by acquisition? Do you see that as the new trend now in our industry?
I definitely see that growth by acquisition is a definite, whether it be by CPG companies or whether it be within industry or companies such as Jared's within this industry. I think the consolidation of brands is going to continue. I don't know where it's going to stop because 10 years ago, it was easy for us to educate a store owner of why they should carry product X, Y, or Z. Uh, we can still do that to some effect, but there is still a part of the market that we don't dictate. that people still come either asking for a product because of advertising or because of just the strength of the name of the product. But I definitely see growth by acquisition as increasing in this industry, and I would even go so far to say as probably by maybe 2025, you only see a few players in this industry, either within distribution or within manufacturing, and that everybody's going to own their part of the pie. And you are going to see people like, say, Glambia's or Posts own their uh, their brands and their portfolios, and there's going to be little room for the smaller guy to get in, and it's going to be more work on them because of the advertising budgets that these larger companies can put behind themselves. So growth by acquisition increased, yes. Maybe by 2025, that's just speculation on my part. We are seeing it all across the board. um, we got into this a little while ago, is that, as technology increases and continues to grow and people continue to trust upon buying on the internet and buying, not from regular places, either be mom and pop stores or the gyms or wherever, we need to facilitate those places with planograms and how to sell against a continually evolving market. But we also have to embrace those technologies and make sure that everybody is able to do business and compete within those evolving marketplaces.
Yep, and I I agree with you. I think that I think that if I can give an advice to any of those big CPG companies or even mid-sized companies trying to acquire, give you a little piece of advice. Check for tickets and start flying into South America. There's a lot of national brands there that are ankle biters to your big operations here in the US. So if you want to grow, it would be a great idea for you to take a look or shoot me over an email and or a note, and I'll explain to you more in detail. And I will go into detail just a list. Like you take a place like Colombia, there's a few national brands that they do manufacturing right in their country. It is very cheap to make products. A lot of people are not as educated as we are here in the U.S. So they don't understand the difference between a regular whey protein by the farms in Ireland compared to protein from the farms in Colombia. First ingredient is normally sucralose. You have a 2 pound US dollars. I mean, I'm not even exaggerating. So I would like to challenge those owners to travel the world and try to acquire some of those companies because you could probably fix them or you can buy them and get rid of them, whatever is the case. Because if not, you're never going to grow to the. There's a lot of space in these companies in these countries that are occupied by national brands, and everybody deserves to make money. I'm not saying, hey, you shouldn't make money. I'm just saying very low quality. I think is a damage to our youth. Our kids and kids. All the millennials that are fitness products, and we just got to be very careful with that. So that'd be my pet peeve to some of those owners, and I think Colombia has done a good job with that. They have gone into even as remote places as oh my god, they bought a brand when I was there. It was I don't want to say cold because everything is to me is cold. They bought it in Switzerland, very small brand, Nutramino, and they acquired that brand. There was only did like $14 million, but it was in a growing market, and the Swiss market is very small, so they dominated there. And they have bars that are RTDs, and they have proteins, pre-workouts, and because of their RTD and bar power. So if you're a brand out there that has the funding or you have good investors behind you and you want to grow, I recommend you the international growth. The international growth is growing at the same pace as the e-commerce, meaning Amazon. So if Amazon is growing at a 40% rate, the international time, and the other day, what is the next emerging market? And I think I spoke about this at the beginning. of our idea of this podcast 002 or 003, and it's China.
Yep.
China is the emerging market right now, guys. It's not sure in South America you have Colombia going after Brazil and everything, and you have the Chile and Peru's and everything. But overall, China is a market right now. Chinese people are like vacuum cleaners for now. They're looking at brands. They're looking at fitness and health. I just saw ProSubs did a tour, to China, and they went to Hong Kong, they went to Shanghai, Beijing, they went everywhere. It's a smart idea. You know, it's a big market. They have a lot of disposable income in that country, so it makes and they're very educated for certain things, but sports nutrition is not one of them. And that's not a push on them because it's my number one country, but it's a push on us, the U.S., that we have not done a good enough job explaining what is it that we do and how we do it, what these ingredients do. So, a lot of people think because the raw materials come from China, and no, they understand how to cultivate these materials and how to process the material. But after that, they don't know because a lot of people told me, man, is it that nobody in China? And well, they're not allowed to do that. They can sell and export the raw material into the US and then import the finished product. That's the reason they do what they do. Sure, there's some brands, but no sports nutrition. It's vitamin brands. So single ingredient products, yes, they can do that. They can label it and everything. But they like that made in USA stuff. Trust me, everybody does. I spoke with my guy from Chile today about that. That is very, very tough to be a brand Chile or Colombia, Peru, Ecuador, when everybody's looking at magazines and advertising budgets from the US, like Indie Latino or Muscular Development or Men's and Fitness. You know, all the advertisements are for the US. So that's what people want. So yeah, I think that it's a good dynamic going on in the industry. Hopefully, we're here long enough to witness the changes, and it'll be a story to tell our grandkids one day, right? That how we started with like 3 or 4 brands, and now you have thousands of brands, and those 1,000 brands are owned by 5 or 6 big players only. And I think it's unique, and I think that that's the reason we love this industry because it changes every single day.
Every
Every
day.
day,
Every day.
somebody every day. So, and with that being said, Nick, we're running into. I think this has been a very good podcast. We're trying this new
I
equipment.
think
I
it's been
think it's
awesome,
pretty
dude.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, trying the new equipment, I feel like a pro. I mean, you know, we're gonna get this fixed because I know that the freezing in between and everything, but I feel good about the sound, 100%.
Sound great, dude.
Yeah, and we'll get to that. So now that we're in the process of getting this fixed, any plans for the weekend before we get into charities for you guys?
Hopefully we'll have a big guest on the weekend, and if you and I can both arrange to be there, I think we may have a
I'm in.
fantabulous podcast, possibly Saturday or Sunday. I think we're going to aim for Saturday, but we will post this one and let everybody know at least a day ahead of time, and I'm going to blast the shit out of this on social media so that people can join us and watch because we've had 1 or 2 viewers pop in tonight, but I also get to see everybody that watches the videos over a period of time. And it seems like our live podcasts have some of the best reception um, next to your international videos. But, coming up, I'll get right into after, this next couple of weeks of guests, I think are going to be really good. And then you'll be heading back on the road, and we'll have some more international podcasts for you guys. And as always, if you like what you hear, let us know on either iTunes. Just drop us a review on there. You can go to Google Play. Both is the Supplement Industry Insider. We are still tracking #1 on iTunes for our category. Hopefully, you guys will continue to support us. On the web, we are at the supplementindustryinsider.com. We have links to our YouTube pages and to our Twitter, which is at Javi and Nick. On Facebook at the Supplemented Life. And then you've got also our personal Instagrams is JP Family First and Nick Lacaria. And then if you go to Supplement Industry Insider and you click on the charities tab, we talk about charities at the end of every podcast because we feel that giving back to the charities that Javi and I believe in are very crucial in our personal growth. And not only do they help us, but they help other people. So my charities are the Red Circle Foundation, and I run a Red Friday every Friday. So you guys see on my Facebook and on the page's Facebook, Red Friday is basically remember everyone deployed. And for the T-shirts that we've made, and for every event that we donate money back to the Red Circle Foundation, and that's redcirclefoundation.org. That is Brandon Webb's charity. Brandon was a SEAL and a SEAL sniper instructor. He started the Red Circle Foundation to as a QRF to special operations military families that are in need, either from losing a loved one in training or combat. The QRF is a quick reaction force, is a way to get funds directly back into those families to help out with their needs, whether it be economic, developmental, anything. Anything that we can do, we make a direct impact. You can also go over to Lone Survivor Foundation coming up on May 29th. We are having the Memorial Day Murph here. If you guys are interested in coming out to that event, go to painkfitness.com and just search Memorial Day Murph. We have a log on or a sign up page on there. Also, we donate to a couple other charities on there. If you guys have known anything about Benghazi, we have the Clint Doherty Foundation. You guys can donate separately or there. And then if you swing over to my Square Up, you can donate by either buying a shirt or donating directly to one of those charities. And then if you guys feel like giving to the show, we have a link set up there that you guys can donate to the show because uh, this is obviously an overhead cost for Javi and I, and we continue to try to increase the way that we bring this podcast to you. We're not giving up, and we're not going to, and we're going to make it better. So anything you guys and gals can give out there, we appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts. Either it's to us or it's to one of our charities. Um, Thank you, and I'll let Javi talk about his charities.
Thanks, Nick. So yeah, I mean, talking about charity. So this weekend, like I said, wake up tomorrow, do my normal routine, go to the gym, and probably call in Justin and let him know I'm like, hey, I need a couple of days. I need something to refresh and spend some time with with Kaden, who's out in spring break, and also take a little bit of time for myself and do a little bit of self reflection and figure the best ways to keep going on business. And then also, I'm very active on Facebook, and I that has events right in your area. And then I have found out little gems in my area of things to do. So one new brewery just opened, so I want to go visit it. I mean, I'm big into craft beer, visit new stuff and try new stuff, and a couple of them have opened up, so I want to go visit that. Green Market on Saturday with the kids, that's a staple. Go to that. But there's a couple of events around that I would like to see and spend some time. Next weekend is a big weekend. My boy 4 years old, so next Saturday is gonna be an awesome birthday party we have for him. So we have family. I got mom and dad coming to town. I got Megan's parents coming. So that is gonna be making sure the house is the way it's gotta be, the backyard, because everybody expects
Hmm.
the best of me in every trip because and everything and entertaining. I love doing that stuff, so it's gonna be fun. But yeah, when we get to foundations and charities, the Joe DiMaggio Children's House, me, I believe that our kids are the future, and if you are a parent or even if you're not, we're all kids at one point, right? We are now this world a little bit better one day at a time. So Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital in Hollywood, Florida. The link is on our website. If you don't have time to go to the link, go to Joe DiMaggio Children's. You will search and it will come right up, and just click on their link to donate. I also invite you guys to come down. And one thing I always said, I always invite, if you are in Florida and you want to go, shoot me over a message. I'll go with you. It'd be pretty cool for us to go out there. Um, again, donations are very important to the hospital. It's a cool thing. Also, anything to do with any cancer foundation of your choice that you decide to do, it's out there. So, gotta make sure for those people and make sure we take care of their families, because once you lose a loved one, it's very tough to deal with. And that a lot of them do not have insurance, right? And I just lost my uncle, R.I.P. My uncle Juan, that unfortunately, he retired years ago, so he really Medicaid is all he had, and they didn't cover everything, so a lot of family expenses. So um, let's make sure that we donate to that, and then like we always been talking about, make sure you guys, if you're going through a hard time right now, depression, suicidal thoughts, that you keep us in mind, meaning, if you need someone to talk to, please come to us. Very, very important to us. Probably even more these days to me than even the children's hospital is that, anything. I'm gonna do some research on a foundation and pick that and start donating to that when it comes to suicide prevention. I think it keeps attacking our country and it keeps getting higher and higher.
Maybe we
Keeps
start our own.
ruining.
Maybe we start our own.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm up for that because it keep the more that I love talking to the more that I get to know people. There's always a story, right? And I hate when the story ends. Yeah, I had a friend that geez, I lost a couple people just last year on this. I'm like, wow, this is kind of weird, right? So let's make sure. And I think that the best way to prevent suicide is by talking. So make sure if you guys need anyone, we don't have to become best friends unless you want to. Make sure you talk to us, and you know how to reach us. So, with that being said, the Murph is coming. I know Nick is excited about that. Nick and I have a lot of off air time to talk about future plans. I think that Nick mentioned something that is important for everybody to know. We're not scars or anything. We're trying to find that happy medium for this podcast, right? We're doing a good job and we know it. We just want to make sure that maybe you're not leaving a review because they're longer than you can listen to or whatever. So maybe Nick and I will start looking at, all right, so maybe if we do it
We
four
tried
days
that.
a week, we
We
take
try. I mean, I think only the days, but every time we talk, it's definitely over an hour.
yeah. So, and I think, why we stay in top. Actually, I think that we stay in topic most of the times, and I think that what Nick is trying to say is like maybe we just start until we have something very, very solid to talk about and bring to you. And then if that day something happened that it opened our eyes, maybe we just run a podcast, even if we're not scheduled to do that. As this goes, the goal, because everybody keeps asking, what's your ultimate goal? Look, ultimate goal here is to continue this podcast and grow it, go into studio, whatever it is. We don't know that. Nick and I don't know that, but I know we have some plans to expand our brand with industry via either swag, clothing, whatever it is, right? So those plans, Nick and I will discuss of idea of what we want to build. We just honestly, guys and girls, we just don't have enough time. I mean, we're like, there's not enough hours during the day. We do have to rest at some point. But with that being said, I think this podcast we share, we did good topics. We spoke a little bit about high tech. We talk about any NutriKey underlying issue, a bit about international business. We talk about challenges. We talk about adapting and stop the bitching, which is the wrong word to use. But also we talked about fun stuff. We talked about USA beating Puerto Rico. Congrats to the USA once again. And I think that every time Nick and I talk about our day was fun. It's always a lot of fun because we put our hearts into the show. We put our hearts into this industry, and Nick he does for the show. He does everything that I couldn't do, and vice versa. We compliment each other. We appreciate your compliments very much. We really, really do. It's humbling at times to listen to people and say, "Wow, you guys have a great dynamic," and we truly appreciate that. And we're semi kidding when we tell you about reviews. Look, we know that you love the show. We really know that. We can see the traction, everything. It's just important for us to review just because it kind of gives us a gauge of where we should take this. Streamline things. More and more viewers will come and review. So with that being said, Nick, as always, man, love you, bro. This has been awesome.
Love you, brother.
Thanks for
Appreciate it,
recommending.
man.
It's cool. And then let's have a good Friday and a good weekend.
You got it. And thank you to everybody for listening to episode 033, the Larry Bird edition of the Supplement Industry Insider, coming at you Thursday, March 23rd. We will see you guys back on the weekend with a couple of guests, and the next week loaded with guests. So until then, peace and stay caffeinated.